the other day for our social work program. Any of you going to be juniors in the next year or two? Two? Everybody's 2 years away? So the Department of, I'm trying to think of the proper way to say it, gave us a bunch of money. Doesn't that sound exciting?
Yeah.
It sounds like a STEMI check, the COVID STEMI check. So here is some of the stuff the program is trying to address as social workers. They call it mental health first aid. So, and they have mental health first aid teaches you to identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental illness and disorders. The training gives you skills to reach out to provide initial support to someone who's developing a mental illness. I guess the long and short of it was we've got possibly $5,000 and $10,000 scholarships for juniors and seniors, but all of you are 2 years away from being juniors and seniors. Everybody? We don't have any sophomores in here? Okay. So keep this in mind. Let me see if I can send this one too. I wish they made it easier to send documents from. It's called the Great Minds Fellowship Program. Let's see if it lets me text it to myself. I can just email it. Let's do that. So the state of Ohio gave us several $5,000 and $10,000 scholarships that we have to use within the next 12 months. And we'll have a way to apply for you guys. I'm hoping that this sent. There it is. Okay. So here's what the scholarship looks like. I guess also if you guys took like 18 in the fall or 18 in the spring and then took the 11 in the summer, you could do enough to be closer to junior year. So here's the Great Minds Fellowship. If anybody's interested in a $5,000 or $10,000 scholarship, sounds like you would at least qualify. And it's the Ohio Department of Medicaid. And wow, this is a long one. So the funding is, they have $85 million. They're given to the schools. Department of Higher Ed gets $45 million of it. And it ends, I guess it ends March 30th of 2025. Okay, fall semester so in a year, they want to distribute 300,000 of scholarships, and it has to be done by fall semester of 24, and we have to write up a report on 25. Students are within 2 years of graduating with degrees or certificates in social work, marriage and family therapy, mental health counseling, psychiatric, substance abuse and addiction counseling, can participate. So maybe take a picture of this because this could be $5,000 or $10,000 for you. Did we post it somewhere else?
No, I just looked up the
Great Minds. Okay. So it says, if you're a junior or a senior, so within 2 years of graduation. Gosh, would sophomore be within 2 years of graduation? How does that work? Maybe if you're graduating early too, I guess. If you graduate in 3.5 years, then a sophomore would qualify. So the Great Minds Fellowship and Central State just got this funding source. So hopefully we'll have it next year for you guys that are freshmen. Eligible for up to $10,000 during your undergraduate and graduate studies for scholarship opportunities to assist with the costs of obtaining these undergraduate degrees and certificates paid for by Ohio. I think that's the other catch. How many people are from Ohio in here? I think, which you can claim residency here, like at your dorm. It usually takes about 12 months, but you just like, you vote here, maybe you get your license and stuff like that, and you claim Ohio residency. That's what I did to get a lot of money in the state of Kentucky. But it was tricky. They wanted to see I had a license, that I like paid a utility bill there, all of that stuff. So you can get residency. So this is a good thing. If we get it for next year also, try to get Ohio residency, because that's, and you would get Ohio tuition that way. Is that kind of how, is tuition different for you guys if you do? How much more is it?
2,000.
2,000 more? Okay. Some schools are like 10,000 more. So that's good to hear. They're not too much. So if you're within 2 years of graduation, so that would be if you are a sophomore this year or a junior next year, because we have to disperse all the money by like this time next year. And it's $300,000. So like $5,000 and $10,000 scholarships. Funds will be used to grow existing career-focused programming in the behavioral health disciplines in Ohio and four-year colleges. Damn, they got 45 million. So why do we only get 300,000? So it's the cost of the final 1 to 2 years of studies in social work. All those other ones are master's degrees, so that's why it's kind of annoying to have those. But you would do a paid internship at a community behavioral health center. That's what CBHC stands for. Cost of license or certification preparation course. That's exciting because that's like $200 or $300. Are you a freshman or a sophomore? Okay. We found a scholarship that's good for if any of you are sophomores now, or if you did your hours quickly and graduated, say, by 3.5 years. I think to do that, you've got to do a little bit extra each year. So instead of 15, 15, 15, 15, like that little report I showed you from your check sheet.
It was like you only need 12 hours, not 16.
Did you do 16? Well, you need 12 to be full time. If you want to graduate on time, you've got to do 15 every semester. And it costs the same to do 12 hours or 18 hours. So I saw it as I might as well do 5 or 6 classes because it's the same price at that point. So yeah, if you do 15 every year, you graduate with the 120 that you see up here. There it is. We lowered it for you guys. It used to be 128 hours to graduate, but that was a pain in the butt. So it's 120. You take each of all of these courses. I think somebody said if you do summer. I guess you could graduate in 3.5 years if you just did 10 or 11 every summer and then 15. Or if you do 18 every semester and say 2 summer courses, then you can graduate in 3.5. So this is the scholarship. We did get this money. We have to distribute it like very quickly. Oh, they do have a website. You're right. There it is. So maybe I would say those of you who are sophomores now, or if you choose to hustle and do, anybody want to graduate early, or is that kind of a weird thing to do? You still can walk in May, but you would be done in December. So that's the difference. And in order to do that, you would need an additional, I guess it is only an extra 15 hours spread over 6 semesters. Because you're cutting out that last 15-hour semester. So say you do it, I should be better at math, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. Yeah, if you just do 18 every semester or 1 or 2 summer classes, you could finish in December. We have students that do that. That would be another way to say, because I'm reading the fine print. They always have this fine print if you look at stuff. And it says students who are, where was it? Graduating within 2 years. And you could get $5,000 or $10,000. So we have a meeting about it today. Thank you, all of you who emailed your paper. Also, make sure to turn it into D2L. I can show you how we do that too. Email is fine if you wanted me to look it over, but it has to be put into D2L, and that's right here. Yes. Okay. So go into assignments. What does it do? It like says you cannot upload this because everybody else was able to turn it in.
Something about how I need a file, but I can't like put a file. I can't send it to a file.
So you need it to be saved as either a TXT file or a Word document, probably. So do you have a Macintosh you just don't own? Do you go into applications like this? And then maybe it's probably called text edit. There you go. And if you open that, and then are you just pasting, is it a Google Doc or is it the whole? Okay. And so if you open this, and then that sounds like an online paper, right? So you wrote it on the internet. But if you want to have an actual file, you probably would open that. Yes. Let's see if it'll open this one in that. Oh yeah, it'll like let me choose files to open in there. And that's what text edit looks like. Anybody ever used this before? It's kind of like Word, but it's more like a typewriter. So it has like all the spaces. That's what the syllabus would look like in it. And you can also place your link into the comments too. So if it's a link, is that what? Right. So you still need a file. So some people even just upload something as simple as a picture, you know, and then that way it'll like populate into D2L for you. And you guys should get free Word on. Does it work? You just have to like type your password in and everything? Okay. And I know it's hard to like figure all this out. So that's why we're here to answer any questions. Looks like we only need like 8 more on your paper. So I'll keep it open. Was it due? It was due last night. I'll keep it open a little longer. So if you need some time, it will mark it as late, but you still can turn it in. So, and then we're writing another $600,000 grant. So on top of the $300,000 grant to get you guys the $10,000 scholarships. This is a grant to try to teach horticulture therapy in our counseling program, which is over here. Does anybody know Dr. Hunt yet? Have you met Dr. Hunt? So if you ever need mental health counseling, you go across the street and you walk into the health center and ask Dr. Hunt. And it's recommended for all of us, the whole self-care thing. I'll see if I can find you guys some details on self-care. I do a lot for self-care. How are your other classes going? Anybody sick of them yet? What's the hardest one and what's the easiest one?
I wouldn't say math is the hardest class, but it's
Math? Is it 1,500 or 1,700? The number of math, because I think they'll let you take both. I think you can take. Okay. So it's supposed to be the Mickey Mouse math, but it's still a pain in the butt. You ever heard of Mickey Mouse math? It's supposed to be the easiest one. Because in social work, we don't require a bunch of math. You literally only have to take 1550 and you're done forever.
I heard.
You believe it? We do have, like when you start doing research, they try to get us to understand statistics, like especially in graduate school, so you can read studies and understand, you know, how to read the research studies. And Any here we go. We got self-care stuff. Phi Alpha self-care. What the hell? Huh.
This supposed to be at 9 a.m.
Does it start at 9 a.m.?
They gotta get this together. It's 9 a.m. We're just waking up at 9.
And I drive an hour and 11 minutes. They got to get their shit together. Is I got to wake up at like 6:30 and drive. It's almost like working a 9 to 5. It sucks. I got into social work so I didn't have to work a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? The stimulus checks and the government scholarship we got does kind of soften the blow on that one because it's kind of exciting that they have $300,000 to hand out to you guys. But like I said, one of the key things is it says you have to be within 2 years of finishing your degree. It's the Great Minds Fellowship Program. So if there's a way to graduate in 3.5 years, that would be a good way to take care of it. Did I? No.
Oh, I was gonna say, keep on working with, please.
You're fine.
I tried to get you.
This is social work. We don't work and operate like English and math and like if you do your work, you should be good. You turn in your
You
stuff
take my work?
on D2L. Did you put it in here? Okay, you're good. I'm keeping it open a little bit longer for anybody else who has a computer.
I put it at exactly 11:59. Exactly.
You know, in the old days, we used to be able to change the time to California time and turn it at 3
For
a.m.
real?
Oh yeah.
That's turned. I ain't gonna lie.
Uh-huh.
That's what I would've been doing.
That's how we succeeded in school.
But it would have been done at 2 a.m.
Or if you did Alaska time, it's like 4 a.m. So you get another extra hour. I was like, I can do this school thing. There's always something, but there's always work. So that's the hard part. Like there's different ways. Either I do it a week early or I do it just on time. As long as it's done, that's the key. So I was going to dip into chapter 4 and 5 because we got our next paper description. You guys have let's see here. Oh, did somebody say asking about the scholarship for Central State? Let's see here. So only one sophomore in this entire class? Everybody's a freshman? Okay. That's good though. And then is there anyone who wants to finish a semester early? Is that turning it up too much?
I want to finish it early. How you do it?
You have to take one extra class each
That's
semester.
cool. How you do that?
You take 18 hours every semester.
That's cool.
That's how you do it.
All right.
As long as you do 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, and 18. Your last semester will be for December of 2025 or what? 2026? What year are you guys supposed to graduate? Dang, really? 2027? Are you a freshman or a sophomore? Dang it. So you're the only sophomore. You could be getting 5 to 10 grand up in your account by next year. Unless if you graduate early. I'm trying to finagle that for you guys. What's that? So if you took, obviously you don't want to stress yourself out, but if you did 18 every semester,
That makes sense.
here's all the classes you need to graduate. Where was that? There it is. And 120 hours is usually 30 every year, which is 15 every semester. But if you did 18 every semester, you would be doing 36 every year. So 36, 36, 36. Oh yeah, and then
Oh, you gotta take some.
there's always one or two of those. Those are right here.
Critical thinking. I need critical thinking.
That's philosophy. Some people hate that one because it is philosophy, but
I need it.
it's a required course. Any of you fill one of these in yet? Remember, you need to have all C's on your classes this side. If you got D's on this side, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But in social work, you need to have all C's to graduate. Yeah, and that's a 2.0. This side is all D's.
No, I'm saying like, what is this chart?
Well, this is all the classes you need to graduate. And so if you wanted to finish with 120 hours in 3.5 years, that would be December of 2026. You take 18 each semester or maybe do a summer course. And then if you do 15 every semester, you'll graduate in May of 2027. That's the trick. Freshman or sophomore? Okay. We have scholarships that are, I know. That's the key right there. It's called the Great Minds Fellowship, and we just got it from the state of Ohio, so they're paying for it, but they do want you to be within 2 years. So it's mostly it's for people within 2 years of graduation. That's why I was saying, is there a way we could get you all to graduate? Next year at this time, it would be within about 2 years and 2 months. And they said the funding runs out on 2025. There it is. Right now, we just got it hot off the press, so we're trying to figure out. It sounds like juniors this year could get it all. So if they take all the money, sophomores this year could get it for next year. But it says if you're within 2 years of graduation and you're studying social work, to get degrees in social work.
I take 17 hours.
Right now?
Yep.
Okay. And then you might do a summer course. Okay.
So
So you could finish in 3.5 years.
I like that. I can't wait.
That would be
I
good,
can't wait.
right?
So
It's a lot of training. It's a lot of vetting, and they've got, that's a master's
I
degree.
like that. Like I can't wait. Like I'm a mental health. I'm a mental health counselor. No, I'm a mental health nurse. Like I can't wait. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
mental
God,
health
this
nurse.
year.
You guys are clear on your way. 'Cause
That's what I'm trying to do.
it really is. Let's see is there any other way to share this to you guys? Like Dropbox transfer. You'll see it and hear about it because obviously it's a big enough deal that it's $300,000 we have to distribute by about 1.5 years from now. It's 300,000,
I need some of that.
right? I need some of that, but it's to students that will graduate within 2 years, and it's mostly if the juniors don't gobble it all up. No juniors in this class, right? So we can talk trash about the juniors. All right, so with that cool title of mental health counselor and mental health nursing and mental health social worker, you get involved in the social service delivery system. You might get to deal with some of the
And my paper
hardest.
that I wrote, I can specify. That's the word, specify.
Sounds
I had
about
to
right.
specify what type of social work I wanted to be.
What
Like,
kind?
I looked up and like what social work I wanted to be.
Okay.
Hey, friend, what is that?
And what kind was it?
It's kind of, hold on, let me look at my paper.
Okay.
Let me look into my paper.
Anybody else have a specific social work type you want to be? What's that? Hospitals?
She want to be the channel.
Oh, we got scholarships for that too. Child Protective Services? So which one?
Like the one who helped the parents.
Right. Well, and that would also be part of CPS.
Not take that.
Right. I understand. I mean, ideally, so they all work for family reunification. So they want to get
I
it
don't
to
want to
where.
work with family channels. I don't want to do that.
I want to work in the hospital for that.
I
Some-
wanna be like the counselor one that go to the schools with the kids. Like,
Right.
I wanna,
That's what I want to do.
yeah, I don't wanna do the one.
Now,
where I go to the
keep in
people that
mind-
have to take the kids and stuff. I don't like that. Like,
You have a duty to report when there is child endangerment. So as the,
yeah, I'm gonna be there for that child.
so these are a lot of the services that we have. So the different agencies, sophomore or junior. We only have one sophomore in this class. We got scholarships. We got scholarships, and it's mostly for people who are within 2 years of graduation. So I'm trying to identify who all has. You want to tell the governor? Say, hey, governor.
Can you find some more?
Governor, listen. So here's 3 places you could work for. Well, like the associations, like professional organizations, a community council. You would have different alliances that you're working for. You've got public and private. Who do you think pays better, public or private? That's what I wonder. Because the government can print money. That's what they did for scholarships, right? They just print it. They print it off. So I'm like, is government able to pay more, like the VA? Or if you're a well-run
I don't
business.
like the government job either.
I hear you. It's a tough call. Sometimes about 51% of all of us get some form of funding from the government, some way, somehow. Like if it's a student loan or if it's that scholarship, 51% get funding from government. That's what research is saying.
I don't think my parents get no type of funding though from the government.
We all got the STEMI checks during COVID. Remember that? You remember that though, or did your parents tell you guys about it? I guess your parents would have gotten it before you, right? Did they share it? They shared the wealth. They're like, we just got this $4,000 check for being your parents. We want to give you $500 of it. Just go shopping at Kohl's.
Oh, so what you get from the government?
4,000.
$4,000 a month per kid?
No, it was per kid. It was like probably 1,000 per dependent. 1,000 per dependent. I put it all into cryptocurrencies and I lost it all. I swear to you guys. I was just gambling. I was just gambling. $4,000. $4,000. I put it into a cryptocurrency as they said I would get rich. Nope. Lost it. I lost 80% of it. I think I walked out of that crypto with $800 from the $4,000 or $5,000 I put into it.
Crypto be like that, even though it's-
I took it as a loss on my taxes.
Okay.
Freshman or sophomore? Dang, we're looking for sophomores, but that's okay. We welcome you regardless. We got scholarships for sophomores. Does that sound exciting? So, then what type of social worker did you all figure? What's that? If you want to. You want to present it? You want me to open it right now? You sure? Okay. How do you spell your last name?
My last name Howard.
If I'm dyslexic and I can't spell, am I in trouble?
It's H-O-W.
H-O-W, like the college.
Yeah.
There's a college named Howard. H-O-W. Hey, there you go.
Oh, I see that.
Dang. They popped it in there like it's the whole page.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and present it if you want. I'll leave it open for you. She wants us, do you want us to look at it? We don't have to if you don't want to. Yes or no? You're like, maybe?
All right, we're ready.
Whoa. There you
Hey,
go.
my name is Tayyana. I did a little research and I'm here to tell you about the different social workers and what you mean and behind social work. To share my personal reasoning to be wanting to be a social worker. If you become a social worker, you have to complete a bachelor's degree in social work. I am pursuing my master's degree in social work, understanding there are different fields in social work. Social work is social and human services, focus on helping the community, assisting with food settings. They also help clients with treatment, health education, especially specialized in social work science. This field requires more certificates than others, like doctoral degrees. It helps with clients' well-being and behavioral to elevate their educational performance, professional development, and relations to their well. 3, social and community service management. Oh, I think got too many spaces. I need to put that down.
That's all right. You can fix it and turn it again if you want to.
Social and community service management to have at least bachelor degrees in social work. Some positions in the field may require master degrees in social work. And
This is true.
I know, most of them is true. I look.
Very true. You get paid way more with the master's.
Oh my God, I gotta see how much we gonna get paid. Get out of here, y'all. Now we about to pay, y'all. Like, that's not get out of here. Like, we get out of here to some shit, y'all. Like, once we sign over to like social work, we walking into some.
You follow your code of ethics. Well, thank you for reading that.
No, you gotta read my Bible, though. My Bible part is fire.
That where it's at.
I didn't say all there. Like, everything you just want to put it in, you put that, read the last paper right there.
Is it too small?
Okay, let's see.
Mr. Shrimp. With that face you be making,
One of
you
y'all
killing
right there,
people.
you see that?
Too small?
It's-
Alright. Mental health counselor.
You can counsel with a master's degree.
What? Mental. You want to know? Yeah, I can see.
So I started at the wrong.
Right here.
Up or down?
Right here. You can just read it from right there.
Oh, you want her to read it?
I can't see.
Where
You want her to read your paper? for
identify
you.
and advocating for the rights of children, working with teachers, foster families, and group homes, ensuring safety for the children. What inspired me to be a social worker? I know how it felt. Oh shit! I mean, I knew how it felt to be alone. To be alone mentally. Oh God, goddamn, God.
Oh, I know exactly what I wrote for this part.
I always wanted
This part
to
was
open.
in my mind.
Okay, I always wanted to open my own group home for teens, but that was
You can
not
do that.
understood. I love to hear other teen stories because I was a teen mother at 15. So it really inspired it early and very fast. I understand how important mental health can be. You can be fighting so many battles in silence because I was the only girl pretending to be happy with 1,000 problems in the back of my head. I would rather give back to my Black youth community because I wish I had somebody to talk to. I love babies, I love to help others, and I can't wait to make other families just as blessed as mine. I understand we all have a variety of situations, and I just want to be the one to help with one if it's possible. Sometimes you can't always turn to families and friends. I remember the days I wish I could do that. This is why I want to pursue a career in social work.
That's good. That's so.
So,
You all can do this. Yes.
Right about social work. I wrote about social work.
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
ass being in this piece, like, come on, I like this. I don't say it's the room. Oh, yeah.
So they're really hungry this time of year. They want sugar and water. And if you guys are eating any sugar and water, that's what they're looking for. A lot of times they fly on my coffee or like my drink. Would it help to shut the window or is that it's too hot?
It is too hot.
Okay.
We just gotta get a screen or something.
It's coming too close though.
All right. So a few of the other social service settings, we talked about public and private. You've got non-governmental organizations.
Wait, I had a question.
Yeah.
You had double space, because I did double space. I
I was like, and 12 Roman numerals, small way.
12 is small.
Yeah, yeah, a 2-page essay, and I did not know. Girl, what you want to read? No.
I will, yeah.
You gotta say like my paper was double page. Okay, yeah, I need double page. Okay, round of applause. Because he said we can double page, so we got the round of applause. No, I thought our English teacher said we could double page, not our social work teacher.
Right, so APA usually is double spaced. If you really, this is Times New Roman 12.
That's crazy.
So
That is wild. That is wicked.
if, is that Command 2 or, there you go, there's double spaced. I
Is it
did.
Arial?
I did. This is the one that I often use, and it's easier for me to read. Probably no other teacher will let you use this. There it is, right there. That's my favorite font. And then also, remember APA, you give a few references at the end. Instead of works cited, you do references. So like where you found some of your information, maybe some of the jobs, things of that nature.
I want to work in the mental health.
Okay. And so that is something, so that's a medical doctor. Okay. Which you can, I mean, I'm not going to say none of you, right. Now remember, medical school,
7 years and shit. Yeah,
it's 4 years of medical school after your bachelor's, and then sometimes a 10-year internship, like your residency. So a lot of people, okay, right. So there are certainly psychiatrists. I'll say with a social work master's, you guys can diagnose, you can treat, you can work in the mental health field just as strong. The difference is a psychiatrist can prescribe medications. So an MD, you can give meds. If you're big into meds, that's fine.
I mean, I'm not super big.
Right. Right.
I don't know. Where I grew up, let me get poor. Cause
It's easier to be. It's easier to be poor. All right. So some of the other public and private social service settings, you've got governments that contract private sector for services, like we get write grants, and that's a good example of like that 300,000 scholarships for our juniors and seniors. That's government money. That's where they kind of like print up the money and hand it out. We also have where government regulates private sector services, and there are arrangements through interagency working agreements, and there's a definite separation between public and private. That's blurred because you could be a private agency and you write a grant for a government contract, and it almost feels like you're a government agency in that sense. So primary and host settings, you've got the main focus being social services, like social work services. It could be food, water, shelter, just like basic services. So that's a lot of times people will come to you, and then you might start getting deeper into mental health services where you're helping them empower themselves. There are some religious and also non-religious and folks that work, for example, Catholic Charities. They're the largest refugee resettlement agency in the United States, and they are religious. So Catholic Charities resettles probably like 6 million refugees a year. Everybody's seen the number of refugees. Who lives closest to the border here? What state? Any of you guys live close to the border of Canada or Mexico? You see any refugees come across? Not at all. Does Detroit have any refugees? I feel like Detroit has.
Like, my brother goes to Canada all the time. He's like 10 miles from me.
Okay.
He's in Canada, so
Okay.
I don't think so.
Because a lot of times folks go to Canada first and then they come across to the United States.
I love it.
So there's a lot of documentaries on Any questions about your next assignment?
Yes, I got it.
All right, which ones?
First one.
Which one? What'd you say? Only one?
Wait, no, what's the next assignment? Oh,
It's
wait,
already
that's a
up.
paper. It's 3 or 4 pages.
Yeah, it's already up. I know, get scared. 3 pages.
No.
You had about 2.5 to 3.5 weeks.
What did that read? What did it do?
It is due September the 14th.
Oh, me that.
And then
Day before.
here's the description. Here's your description on it.
Let me see what that look like.
Yeah, what's that?
NASW Code of Ethics, the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics. That's our next PowerPoint we're popping in. And you'll compare and contrast your personal values with the values in the Code of Ethics. Students will critically evaluate your own values and thoughtfully give examples of areas of compatibility. Isn't that the worst?
Yes.
What do you guys write about in English?
You right about.
She said, bro.
Why
he keeps-
people mirror right? Huh? Like,
Yeah.
A right to bear arms?
no, mirror right, like right from left to
Left to
right
right.
instead of from right to left.
Oh, that's what the paper's about?
That's what she
That's
wanted
what
to
I'm
know.
writing.
But like in China, don't they write it like down?
We had to pick a topic. but I
Top
need
to bottom.
We had to pick a topic.
I need somebody that picks a topic. So I can go off the topic and I wrote out right. Oh, you didn't tell your professor that.
Interesting.
He talking about.
He talking about they do that. He
He dumb as
irritated.
fuck. I hate him.
All right, so here,
He got his class so bad.
chapter 5 is all about the Code of Ethics. So that's why I wanted to dip into it a bit early for you all, because this is what your paper's all about. And then the code you see. Here's why we have a Code of Ethics. It will, yeah. It makes it easier and makes it harder, because you really do have to follow a routine and be accountable. Like the social worker board holds folks accountable with the Code of Ethics. So for you guys to get it, all you have to do is a simple search like NASW Code of Ethics, and then we'll analyze the value context of social work, including client's value system, agency values. What's that? A big brick? Everybody wants brick nowadays. I never get that. It's like, it's the swag weed, right? It's like,
A brick?
yeah, you want kind. You want something that's kinder and gentler than a brick. Yes. Get it prescribed. Describe ethics, the personal ethical codes and standards of professional practice, and then critique ethical principles and preferences that guide social practice. So these are all the fun stuff that you guys get to be accountable. Here's some of the values defined maybe you guys had. I'll zoom in for you. So the values help shape your beliefs and emotions and attitudes. It is kind of complex sometimes. Like, should we give every refugee who crosses our border a house and a car? No?
I'm gonna answer the question.
Yes?
I don't know.
Maybe?
I feel like yes, because that's basic necessities.
It seems like it. You know, it just throws out some of the things like
Or not a car, most like definitely a house though.
like housing, right? Like housing. So if it's a homeless shelter and the ability to get a job and then work for, because there seems to be something that comes from working for your stuff. Would you believe that? Or
I believe it.
like if it's handed to you, sometimes it's like,
It's like 50-50. If you hand somebody something, you know, either it could go like they gonna use it as motivation or they just gonna use it as like I need money. I'm the kind of person I use motivation.
right. Yes, correct. So here's where a lot of the values came from. So it's been about 100 years, but just like morality clients, that was the focus back then. And worthy or unworthy poor. So that's kind of how we judge people. We'd be like, oh, you're not worthy. Like, you're not willing to work or go look for 10 jobs a week. Because that's how they give out sometimes food stamps or Medicare and Medicaid. You got to prove that you applied to 10, 15 different jobs every week. They can, yeah. That's kind of the federal rules. So we're not far from this, morality, worthy and unworthy poor. It is 100-year-old concept, but they kind of shifted just under 100 years ago in the 1920s. They raised questions about like the values of social work. True. True. And we define the core values of social work. So like, again, it kind of comes back. Do we have the resources to give everybody a house and a car, or the ability to grow their own food, or the ability to take care of their own family? Like, it gets into lots of ethical discussions, like if we hand it out. Why do you think so many refugees want to come to the United States of America?
Better jobs, better opportunities.
You think? Okay. Like, what's the difference in other countries? Any of you guys been to another country?
Yeah.
No.
Which
Like,
one?
my life's so boring.
I've been to Jamaica.
How does it look down there?
It depends. Like, if you go to Jamaica on like a resort, you're gonna think Jamaica turn. But if you go to real Jamaica, you go, oh.
Oh, the all-you-can-everything resorts? Like Hard Rock Bay down there?
Yeah, but I went to like actual Jamaica. My
Right.
family was down there. So it's like
You saw the poverty and the challenges
Yeah.
and
But
things like
it's
that.
crazy though, because you'll think like from us going over there, you'll like instantly like you'll get mad or you wouldn't be in a good spirit because you like, damn, this how I'm living. But for them it's every day, so it's like they got a different outlook on life. Like I
Mhm.
feel like they got a different mindset when they wake up. Like, all right, you gotta wake up and get it. Like regardless how I feel, how in America you can be lazy and it's like just chill sometimes.
True.
In there, it's like you gotta get up, you gotta go.
You
get
gotta
up
hustle.
and have to. It
Any-
ain't no sitting around.
Anybody else been to another country before?
No, but I think they come from like our resources. I feel
Yeah.
like other countries, their way of life, like the way they all live together, really like that. Like they have that side too, but people who have our resources, and I think that's what you get a culture shock. Because when you get the resources, it's like Americans, like everybody say Americans are typically like once you get like the resources that we have, like we all turn each other, like we work. It's like they don't do that. It's like they outlook and share like that.
Right.
Like they think you have a better life because of what you have. But really it's-
Right.
I mean, not the same, but it's
Like the hard work piece.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, I hear.
Yeah, so when I lived in El Salvador and Nicaragua for several months, I had to flush my toilet with a 5-gallon bucket of water. There's no flush. They just didn't have working toilets. I dug out latrines that prevented the spread of malaria, things of that nature. So here, some of the resources could be, you think, food, water, shelter,
Government assistance.
the government assistance. Yeah,
That's a big reason.
yeah. And that can be a big part, but do they qualify immediately when they cross the border to get the government assistance?
Well, if they cross legally. Yes, but, if they come illegally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because they had made it more difficult to cross the border recently, but in the past 2 years, it's become easier to cross again. So we've got, I think, like 2, 3, 4 million that are on the waits.
To be in here.
Yeah.
And when you say refugees, like what group of people are you describing? Are you talking about like
Usually refugees are running from a dangerous situation in their country, some other type of turmoil. There is a movie that came out this summer. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Funded because nobody in Hollywood would pay for it. And I want to show you the trailer because it does have to do with refugees. If you get a chance to watch it, I think it's a 2-minute trailer. So tell me if you've got any experience seeing stuff about this. It's called The Sound of Freedom.
I don't think I can do this job. As soon as I lay down,
Like that.
all I see are the faces. How long have you been doing this? 12 years. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal trade, and soon it's going to pass.
So it's about child and human trafficking. True story.
Es verdad. Quizá puedas ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana.
It's an FBI agent who got involved.
Imagine walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What will we do? We're Homeland Security. You know we can't go off rescuing kids in Colombia. This job tears you to pieces. This is my one chance to put those pieces back together. I'm talking about extracting an Euro girl from an army of rebels. Lester, I'm talking about rescuing hundreds of kids. She could be a block down the road, or she could be in Moscow, Bangkok, LA. A million children a year are being sucked into the deepest reset. It'll be nothing. Someday it's gonna be. What if this was your daughter?
So this movie just
If you
came
would
out.
like to help our reality of human trafficking by bringing this
A month
powerful
ago.
story to the big screen, express interest now at angel.com/freedom.
I think you have to. There is a way to sign up for a free. Yeah.
All I know is I'm happy birthday. We're going to Bahamas for my birthday. See, y'all wanna go, y'all might forget to get y'all see them passport now. You go with my roommate, where we going?
I'm going to the Bahamas in February.
Come on, let's go.
Are y'all ready to start now? Ready?
Hold on for Sam's Club.
Oh yeah, give me the more from TikTok. Oh yeah, give me the more from TikTok.
Thank you. No happy birthday to
How old are you guys now? Like, oh snap!
Yeah.
So you can like buy cigarettes now, or they don't have anymore.
No. It's not even play TikTok. Happy birthday.
And I do want sincere assessment on that child trafficking movie. Have you guys even heard about it?
No.
Nobody's heard about it.
It's
like,
oh, that was
It's in major theaters. It only came out July, and I guess it's August. It came out the 4th of July,
That's crazy. I'll watch
and
it.
it's on child and human sex trafficking. Well, there's certainly black people involved.
I don't know. Me personally, like, I gotta watch a film. I gotta see people that look my color.
Right. Oh, you'll see every color in that. They
I ain't seen no
oh, okay. Okay. Like you want it the exact tint, like you want the melanin.
Yeah, I want. I'm
Perfect.
Like, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Like, I want. Like, I'm not gonna say I want my show. If
Right.
It's, like, I be preferred.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Just
it's
like a
this
few more.
this brings up an interesting topic because as a social worker, we have every race, religion, creed, color, and everybody come to us for help. So how does that look? You know, like in terms.
But like, no, don't say it like that.
Well, I'm
Not
just. It's
racist.
just no. It's just a question. It's not saying because we do have those, and sometimes it's like, oh, I
I'm a
don't.
Christian, so you know, like, I don't really,
Right.
you know, I really don't care.
Right.
It's just like something like worldly, right? Like I would watch something, but like on my job, I wouldn't care. Like,
Right. Yes. Yeah. So this.
Did you find it?
I would say I didn't because I would say I didn't because I'm still kind of focusing in on this guy busting, and I can see where they portray what they portray, but I would imagine people of color are more affected by it than anything because it's 80% of the world population. This is a global sex trafficking trade. And he mentioned they could be in Moscow, they could be in France. So if you guys are interested in seeing the movie, apparently they're giving out free tickets to it. So like you go to angelstudios.com and like you can get a ticket and it's a true story. It's a message they want out there. So there's people. Angel Studios. Is this the Happy Day TikTok for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. Play.
You want that dude?
No, go up.
Is he at Disney World?
Go up. Go that first. This is the video.
The hot box in the house or something?
No.
Oh, it is. I mean, look how smoky it is in there. It's like.
I want to say happy birthday to you.
Is the candle smoke?
It's a filter.
It is smoky. What city is this? What city you think this is? What city?
I don't know. Black people always chasing happy birthday. It was the other happy birthday.
And that's the one.
And I was listening.
It might say who it was. Blaze DeGoff. That's the chant.
Don't give an F.
Blaze DeGoff.
No, that's African.
Blaze don't give a fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our teacher cussing lives.
That's true. That is true.
He sure do.
So luckily we made it through half of your values in social work. These are for the rest of your career. If you want to be a social worker, if you want to get your license in social worker, this,
Yeah, I like working with people.
like Jaren told you, yeah.
Like, you know, help people.
Yep.
That's why I work in a hospital. Yeah, I work with everybody walking.
Or like hospice.
Baby, I want to
You want to see them die? Okay.
That's why I was in the STNA program. And that's what I was like, you'll have to do it. I said, I don't want to do that. Like,
Mhm.
I was in
So what you want to do right now is based on our
Right. These are the social work values, and if you search NASW Code of Ethics, you'll get first hit. You can download it. So it's on socialworkers.org. So if you want to finish, you want to graduate with your social work degree, get your license for the rest of your career, will govern your behavior. The hard part is to focus for a whole session. So like if you want to be a mental health counselor and like stay legit on somebody and all the distractions we have with our cell phone, with the dings and whistles and like, oh, somebody's texting, but like giving somebody your undivided attention. It's gotten harder. I'm not going to lie. Like when I started, we didn't have texting or Wi-Fi, internet, none of that. Yes and no, because I get distracted by the same stuff as you guys do. Like they say every time we get a text, it's like somebody's tapping you on the shoulder. So if I was in school as you guys now, I would probably fail out. I almost failed out as a sophomore in 1997 and only had like a pager, like a beeper go off. But now you've got like you got phones, everything's in color. You got every distraction. So how do you stay focused for 3.5 years solid and write the 10-page papers and then 12-page papers and like 400 hours of internship? Correct.
Bro, I got ADD. Like I can't.
It's tough. I was diagnosed with it my sophomore year of high school.
It be hard. You gotta see me moving. You gonna always see me moving, no matter what. I'm gonna be moving.
So then sometimes an advocacy position would be good for that. Like you'd be an advocate and keep moving and get out into the trenches and work with the folks. Homeless. That's what I wanted to do. That was all I wanted to do was work with like homeless advocacy. Never wanted to write a paper, never wanted to write notes. A lot of times you don't. You're a case manager and you have a lot shorter notes. But I found out if you do stay focused, learn how to write, get to write up your case notes, you'll get paid more. So if money's a motivator, I wish that it wasn't, but it's just sometimes the truth.
Money motivates me.
Staying focused is key. And learning how to write is key. Like if I had not learned how to write, I'd still be at that 25,000 a year. So just something to consider. So last bits of the values in social work. It'll help you guide relationships between practitioners, which is you guys, clients. It'll help balance societal values and standards. Keep your clients' legitimate interest. And then help with authority of helping professions conferred by society. And then the last three on this, the agencies that you work for, they'll have their own code of ethics. So you'll have this social workers code of ethics and you'll have your agency will give you their own code of ethics. It's easy to miss because you got TikTok and other things to watch instead of paying attention at your job. So it's tough. But they'll have you read the mission statement. That'll usually reflect the values that your agency was founded on. It'll define the purpose of the agency. So some of you guys want to start a shelter for teens or for kids or like a girls group home. So then what would you want to do with your social? Okay. What other good majors are out there? I always wonder. I've got psychology, theology, social work, and counseling. And you can't do anything with it unless if you get a doctorate, really. Some masters. But social work, with a bachelor's of social work, you can get a license in social work. Don't have to do any more school if you don't want to. You can definitely do that as a psychologist, a social worker, or a counselor.
Not little kids, but like teenagers.
Okay.
Or like children.
And that's kind of what you defined in your paper and what it would look like. And that's why the second paper kind of zeroes in on what values you have to follow to be a social worker, what code of ethics.
I want to work with I want to work with bad kids because I was a bad kid. So
I was definitely a bad
Work in
kid.
the school system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would, but like I don't want to be like school staff. Like I don't want to follow the rules. Teachers gotta follow and all that. Because that's not gonna work. Like the people that helped in my life was people that wasn't people that come from juvenile. Yeah, that's it. Because I work in like the juvenile detention centers. Like,
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm a good kid at school, and you try to work with a kid that's just always in trouble, and not a juvie. Then you're not gonna be able to relate to them because you ain't lived that life, you ain't had nothing close to that. If you didn't came from that in the past, and you help somebody in that situation.
Right. Look right out that window. That's where you go here. It's for all students. Look out the window. And the health center, it's like that. The parking lot is full. That's walk right over there right after class. She'll take you in. Like, who else knows Dr. Hunt?
I know that's my girl right there.
So that's where you meet her. You walk right across.
Wait, what you got?
That's confidential. Confidential. See you later. Yay! First and last.